what we are saying here, we have to get over these matters and go into the sermon.
Yes.
So I'm going to speak as fast as I can. The things that I've been burdened to speak, I could have said what I'm saying today 3 months ago, but I was hoping that I was going to get more details. But the Lord instructed me to speak it out yesterday, and it appears that he wants me to share with you the little details that I have today. There is a statement that we are going to release, which we have already recorded, but the Lord wants me to share with you the prophecy I have before you could take part or to listen to watch that video. So I was seeing a dragon, which looks like, those who have watched horror movies, it looked like a vampire. It was a dragon. It looked like a vampire. I'm not good at drawing. I could have put it on a paper to give you an idea of what I saw. But I prefer to speak it out as I can, and you may not need to go into the simulations of the dragon that I saw. If you have never seen dragons in movies, you can try to Google them up on the internet. And so this dragon was behind people who were dressed in ZANU-PF attire, political regalia, and there is a lot of things that started coming into me, which the Lord wants me to share with the people of Zimbabwe. First and foremost, I would want to specify and to outline here and now that it is folly, it is a mistake for anyone who comes to our platform to think that as the church we have a vested interest towards a specific group or a certain group in the events or in the issues of our livelihoods in this earth. We do not like any political party above any other political party. As I talk to you right now, I am not a member of any political party. We do not forbid our members from practicing politics, joining politics, taking part in political activities. They have a right to do so, and the doctrine of Christ does not forbid people from leading their fellow countrymen in national leadership. But as a man of God, I do not have that kind of preference. I do not have that kind of luxury. I am a man with a specific assignment, and my assignment does not allow me to find time to deal with issues that are to do with politics. I would prefer that you could understand that, so that whatever I say, you may understand that the interests of God become my own personal interests, the well-being of his people, and also the free course of the gospel. Those are the focal points for whatever we do and whatever we say. When Joshua wanted to go to war against the pagans as they entered into the promised land, the Bible says in verse 5 of Joshua chapter 5, verse 13, it says, "And it came to pass when Joshua was by Jericho, that he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man over against him, with his sword drawn in his hand. And Joshua went unto him and said unto him, Art thou for us or for our adversaries?" People often come with this question to me.
Yes.
Do you support them or you support their enemies?
Yes.
Do you support us or you support our enemies? So Jericho is where Joshua intended to go and fight. But as on his way to fight the people of Jericho, he met a man whom he didn't know which side he was of these two sides that are going to war. Are you for our side? Are you supporting us? Or you are supporting our adversaries?
Yes.
In which case, if this man was a man of Jericho, definitely Joshua was going to kill him. Let us hear in verse 14 what the men said to Joshua. So they say, it's either you are ZANU-PF or MDC. It's either you are ZANU-PF or Triple C. There is no middle ground. It's not true. This is what Joshua was asking the men.
Yes.
Are you ZANU-PF or you are MDC? Are you a Democrat or you are a Republican? Are you the Labour Party or you are the Conservative?
Yes.
You see,
Yes.
they always think that there is no middle ground. It's either you are for the ruling party or you are for the opposition party. And so we struggle every day.
Yes.
When we speak because God has spoken to us, they want us to say what they want so that they may support us. He's right. If you say something that corrects them, that rebukes them, that challenges them, that reprimands them,
Yes.
they say you are our enemy. You don't want us to see progress.
Yes.
So Joshua asked, do you support our party or you support the opposition?
Yes.
What did the men say to Joshua?
And he said, Nay, but as captain of the host of the Lord am I now come.
Let's end here, Pastor.
Yes.
The angel, it was the angel, but the angel looked like a man.
Yes.
So Joshua thought he had seen a man.
Yes.
The angel was asked, do you support us, young men, or you support our adversaries? The angel said, I don't support anyone. I don't support you. I don't support your adversaries.
Yes.
I am the captain of the army of God,
Yes.
which simply means I stand with God. I do not have a side.
Yes.
Do you accept that there are such people on earth who do not support you? They support God.
Yes.
They stand with God. What did Joshua do when the angel said, I am for the army of God? What did Joshua do?
And Joshua fell on his face to the earth and did worship and said unto him, What saith my Lord unto his servant?
When Joshua realized that this is an angel,
Yes.
he fell down. He said, forgive my nonsense. Forgive me for speaking nonsense.
Yes.
I am your servant. Tell me what I should do.
Yes.
How could I ask you such a stupid question? You don't need to support us. You stand for the plan of God.
Oh, yes.
You identify with God's principles.
Yes.
That's who is Apostle Chiwenga. That's who I am.
Yes.
Yes.
Don't support anyone. I stand with God.
Yes.
So there's a vampire that I saw, and instead of giving you everything that I saw in the vision, I am going to give you the interpretation of the vision, because the details of the vision are very, very graphic, and it's impossible for anyone to interpret the dragon that I saw. But when I saw the dragon, I was given the interpretation of the vision. So there is a cartel. There is a cartel, and that cartel is heavily funded. It is made up of military generals celebrated for their career achievements. They are expert military professionals. They have tasted the good and the sweet taste of money, and they have been given a task to protect the company, to protect the institute. They are not disrupted in everything that they are doing. Hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions of dollars are being paid per month so that this dragon, this vampire, can continue to conduct what they are calling operations. Operations everywhere. They've set up provincial offices, district offices, every corner of the country. This dragon has its representatives. The disappearance of opposition members, which we are seeing happening now, it is being carried out by this dragon, this vampire. The plan is to do what is called in political science gerrymandering and election engineering. Gerrymandering is simply changing constituency, political constituencies. You always continue to change them so that whenever an election is done, a constituency is re-pegged and they do a delimitation to make sure that every candidate of this party is going to have a constituency that has enough people to vote for them. When they see that there are more supporters on this side, the next time they change the boundaries of that constituency. That is what is called gerrymandering, of which election engineering is broad. There is election engineering towards voter registration, election engineering that is done by registration of national identification documents. There are people right now who are getting new identification documents in Zimbabwe. There are people right now, as I talk, we have 2 or 3 national identification documents. When voting starts next year, they are going to vote in 3 places in the same day. And no one is going to know that there's somebody who traveled from Mutoko to go and vote in Mavuku and go back to Mutoko. That is what election engineering is all about. But the abductions are part of the election engineering. What happens is these people have gone to different places in the world to learn how to predict an election outcome even a year before the election. And so what they are doing right now, they've already started making sure that every cog is in its rightful place for ZANU-PF victory to be realized next year. And one of the biggest plans is to use intimidation, but in a different way. People are going to vote for ZANU-PF next year unwillingly. There is going to be so much fear to the extent where you are going to vote for them even without, with a cold heart. Zvakafanana nekunzi ndikise kana kuti ndokuuraya. You can kiss someone usingadi, asi uchiziva kuti I have to do it, otherwise I will die. So they have a plan to make sure that after they are going to abduct someone, kill him, murder someone. After a few days, they murder someone in a different place. After a few days, they murder someone, until the whole country is aware that people are dying like rats, like mouse. And then people are going to say, let's just do what they want. So they are killing one person per day so that there is not too much outcry, because it's just one person killed, and then after a few days they kill another person. It's a very, very serious issue, and as I talk right now, I'll talk about it later. I want to say something. I want to speak something that I've been trying to really understand myself, but I will say it as it came to me. This is a very serious situation we have. A very serious situation we have. The reason why these murders are happening, it is because they do not want people to die, too many people to die during the voting days, during the campaigning days. So by the time elections happen in 2023, you are going to see on news, on the television, in various newspapers, they are going to say for the first time, elections were violent free. So in order for them to achieve that, they are trying to avoid violence by killing people who would otherwise be attacked during the election time. They are killing them. So there is no need for violence anymore, because people who are beaten in political violence, they have already died. But people are going to get tired of talking about people who are being abducted and people who are being murdered. So far in the past 4 weeks, we have already lost 3 opposition members to these murders. Clinically, different from what was happening in the previous election. That naivety is worrisome. People who are part of this masquerade, this dragon, this vampire, they are the guarantors of ZANU-PF's stay in power. The elections you are talking about, this vampire has already sent its emissaries and mercenaries into Zimbabwe Electoral Commission. They are the ones who are going to be running the election. So what you are going to do is you are going to go into a football match where the referee is also a player of the opponent team. Why could you expect a match win when the referee who is refereeing this match is a member of the opponent team? Why people are so fanatic and crazy and anxious and excited that this Triple C is going to achieve something? It leaves a lot to be desired. It's amazing. Zvotoshamisa izvo zvokuti vanhu vari kufunga kuti chii chaicho chaicho chavari kufungidzira kuti chichasiyana nezvanga zvichiitika makore esati. This vampire I am talking about is so relaxed today, and it has promised its principle that we will deliver to you this election. They are not panicking, they are not worried, they are not concerned. There is nothing that is going to change. What we are seeing today is already the result of the 2023 election. And as I talk to you right now, my heart bleeds for the people whose names are on the target list, whom we are going to continue losing. And people are going to simply be sending comments on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, TikTok, complaining that they condemn the murder of Zimbabwean citizens and criticizing them on social media is not going to yield any effect. This is a very serious problem. And as you shall see in the public statement that I'm going to issue, we are actually pleading with opposition members to discontinue their political activities to save lives. Their political ambitions are going to remain political ambitions. They are not going to materialize. You are going to be surprised by some people who are going to join the ruling party defecting from the opposition. Some of them are going to be intimidated. Some of them are going to be given money. Those who have already been bought out, they are just the beginning of the end of some of the ambitions of the opposition. The situation in Zimbabwe has escalated to very, very dangerous levels. Very, very dangerous levels. And there is also an invisible external hand in the politics of Zimbabwe. One of the foreign hands is of a Chinese nature. To date, China has invested about 4 billion US dollars in Zimbabwe. And China knows the volatility in Zimbabwean politics. And one of the effects of this external hand is that they are resourcing this vampire to protect the party because of the Chinese investments. The Chinese want to protect their money. The Chinese have poured in money, and the people of Zimbabwe have not benefited from those investments. The money invested ended up in the pockets of the so-called political elite. So China is going to lose if ZANU-PF loses an election. So China is a guarantor again of electoral victory to ZANU-PF. If you remember, in 2013, China gave ZANU-PF more than 200 million US dollars to campaign with. This is a fact. You can go and check history. How do our Zimbabwean people accept that a political party is sponsored by as giant an economic player as China as a country? If MDC was given that money by Europe, was the ZANU-PF ruling party going to accept it? For how long has China been giving ZANU-PF money to use during election time? It's true what I'm telling you, that in the 2013, 2018 elections, China gave them money to use to campaign. So when you are talking about the 2023 election, you must also consider China and Chinese interests. Whatever you think is going to happen, you must make sure China is part of your considerations.
Yes.
Whether you want to play a part or whether you are trying to just do some scientific analysis. As an analyst, if you are not going to consider China, you are going to come up with very, very unrealistic analysis. This is very difficult and this is very dangerous. China itself does not accept anyone it's illegal to be sponsored by a foreign power when you are trying to practice politics in China, although we know as a communist state, it's a one-party state, but you go to prison if you are found to be conspiring with a foreign power. How does ZANU-PF accuse opposition parties of being sponsored by the West when they are also being sponsored by the East? What do we say about the level of this hypocrisy? These are some of the things that an ordinary citizen is not able to say. And as a man of God, I am not a political analyst. I'm speaking these things because the duty of a prophet is not just to tell you what shall happen. Sometimes I have to enlighten you on how things are going to happen,
Yes.
to broaden your judgment, as it were, and your sense and your understanding. Very, very dangerous. But there's other bigger problems. The first problem is that, like I told you some few weeks ago, the government has acquired a dangerous set of equipment from Israel, from a company called Chiwenga'S. This company specializes in inventing, manufacturing, and selling spy equipment. It is one of the best Middle Eastern companies at these technological gadgets. Our government is now able to listen to your calls without needing to go through to your telecommunication service provider. Before, they used it to intercept calls because every telecommunications service provider is instructed by the Act, is also regulated by POTRAs, that they will be able to follow up to make sure that they can use those communications to do investigations for this, for justice purposes, to prosecute criminals and so forth. But they would need to go and install the equipment so that they can have a connectivity with the telecommunication service provider. The new equipment they have now, they don't need Econet, Tel1 or Telecel to listen to your calls. They will listen to your calls without communicating with Econet. It's a very, very dangerous equipment, and almost all dictatorships have acquired this kind of equipment. You must remember, one of the countries that have acquired this equipment is Belarus, which is also a dictatorship, and other despotic regimes. And this equipment I'm talking about, it is handed over to this vampire so that they can hunt for the targeted political opponents and eliminate them. On top of that, they have also acquired a certain chemical, very, very dangerous. Instead of poisoning your food so that you die tomorrow, they have now laid on their hands to a chemical that can kill you 3 months after the day of your poisoning. And once you die, the pathological examinations are never going to be, if they are standard equipment, they are not going to be able to tell that this person did not die of a natural disease, because this chemical is an agent that attacks different parts of your body. They attack your nervous system, they attack your lungs, they attack your heart. others are going to die of heart attack, others are going to die of so-called cancer. Suddenly, you are going to hear that you are diagnosed of cancer. It is because of this chemical. And why this is dangerous, it is because for the first time, they are going to be able to kill someone without touching him, because they can shoot a dart and then you are going to be pinged with a small granule that contains this poison, and you are going to feel like it's just a sting from a bee or something that is less painful, and you are going to forget about it, and you are going to live as normal. 3-4 months later, you are going to be sick, and in a few days you are going to die, and nobody is going to suspect them. This is a dangerous chemical. This is a dangerous capacity. I want to ask this question: why is our government investing so much money in acquiring things that hurt its own citizens? Why can't they use that money to improve building proper roads? Not these ill-constructed roads, which can't even last a year. The roads that Mr. Mnangagwa is building, they are substandard roads, all of them. If we are given a chance to have proper leaders, we are going to start afresh to building those roads. Why can't he use that money instead of acquiring chemicals to kill opponents? Why can't he supply medicines to hospitals? It's very dangerous. The Zimbabwean politicians are in a friendship with a dangerous country. I don't want to release the details. Our government has become too close to a very dangerous government that is very notorious for manufacturing nerve agents that kill political or perceived political opponents from a distance. This is not good. This is not good. This is not good.
Yes.
They are going to hire and recruit what they call intelligence assets, people who are basically handled by intelligence operatives, and they are paid few dollars to carry out clandestine intelligence and military operations. They are going to recruit waiters and cooks from upmarket restaurants where political elite opposition members go and eat from. And you are going to walk into a restaurant and order food, and those people are going to have a list of targets. Whenever a politician enters their restaurant, they check on their list. If they see you are there, they poison you in your food. You don't suffer that day. You don't get sick that day. You are going to be fined for 3, 4, 5 months, and then you get sick. Within 2 months, you are dead. And this is what I said. Why I said there is a dark cloud. And I was talking to some few people yesterday, and I said there's a dark cloud hovering above us, and we need to pray for people who are instrumental in crying out for a change of things in our country, people who are asking the government to behave responsibly, people who are advocating for the preservation of life in Zimbabwe, political activists, journalists, and civic society activists. I want us to pray for them, because we are likely going to lose one of the most instrumental persons in our country through these tactics and weird and very, very wicked strategies which they are using now. My advice to the so-called politicians, especially from the opposition, they should minimize their exposure to the public. They must reduce their frequency to go and eat from restaurants, especially in Zimbabwe. Because if you're on the target list, you are never going to know. that you have been poisoned. And you are going to be said to have died of a natural cause. And for the first time, people are never going to suspect ZANU-PF. The doctors are going to write, he died of pneumonia, he died of cardiac arrest. But what causes the cardiac arrest? It may be a cardiac arrest. What triggered the cardiac arrest? It's a very, very nefarious and aggressive and dangerous chemical agent acquired by the state to eliminate perceived political opponents. It's a dark cloud that is hovering over Zimbabwe right now. Let us pray that the people we are having hope on, they may last until this time next year. Let us pray that all of them, they may last until this time next year. It's a prayer that you need to make. Now, as I talk to you right now, I'm a survivor of political violence. I survived 2 assassination attempts. I have injuries on my body right now in the hands of these barbaric ZANU-PF terrorists who tried to kill me on the road. So I know that on the list of those who are going to be targeted, definitely my name is there. I don't lose sleep about it. But the reason why I'm sharing this with you, I also want you to know that as long as you are known for holding the government accountable, every death should be suspected. Every death of those who are perceived to be enemies of the state in Zimbabwe, everyone's death from this point onwards, they should be suspected. And of the deaths that need to be investigated, I am not casting aspersions, I am not pointing a blaming finger, but I want you to ask yourself, did Dewama Vunga die a natural death? Did Alex Magaisa die a natural death? I want to ask this question. I knew Dewama Vunga, he was a friend of mine. He was a human rights activist. He was based in London. He ran a program called Human Rights Watch. And if you go to YouTube right now, you are going to watch his videos. He interviewed women who were raped by the soldiers after the mass shooting of citizens in 2018. He interviewed people who are drinking contaminated water in Harare. He interviewed victims of political violence. He was advocating for the protection of citizens, not only in Zimbabwe, but all over Africa. Did he die a natural death? Did he actually die of COVID? Did Alex Magaisa die of a heart attack, which was caused by pre-existing medical conditions? How sure are you? Oh, he was in England, so he was safe. Pray for Africa so that they may not be too naive. As I talk to you now, people are going to be given money to fly to different countries to go and assassinate those who are using foreign lands as a safe hub from which they are recording videos on TikTok and YouTube and Facebook and Twitter criticizing the Zimbabwean government. They are going to send mercenaries flying to China, flying to Europe, flying to South Africa, flying to Botswana, to Namibia, to Kenya, hunting for the perceived political opponents. And they are going to come back and relax. And after a few weeks, we are going to hear Mr. So-and-so has died. He suffered from a natural problem. Mr. So-and-so has died. He was suffering from this disease. And everyone is going to say, it's a natural death. Death is for us, or everyone is going to die. You can't blame ZANU-PF for everyone's death. It's a dangerous situation. But in the midst of all these things that I'm saying now, you must know that God is watching, and God has his own way, his own plans. I am not even sure, as I talk to you right now, whether myself I will be alive by this time next year, because there has been so many meetings held by these people, this vampire. They are trying as much as possible to use everything in their disposal to find out where am I. Last time I shared a video, I did a public statement when they sent people down there to South Africa to try and find out if I was there. So as I talk to you now, I always know that I am not entitled to meeting with you again or to do another utterance again to speak on Zimbabwe. It may be my last speech to you. When I heard that they had mutilated More Blessing Alice's body, I could imagine that they were going to do the same if they find me. They can do the same to me. The reason why God kept me alive to this day, it is because God found it necessary to use me to speak openly and educate my fellow countrymen on some of the things that are affecting our land. The people of Zimbabwe must know that ZANU-PF has declared war on them. We are no longer at a time of peace. We are now in a time of war. But this is a strategic war. They have decided to kill us one by one so that we may take longer to realize that it's a war. And in a war situation, you don't seek to negotiate with the enemy who is attacking you without you taking a position to fire back to defend yourself. And this is where our opposition parties are doing us a disservice and disappointing us. Mr. Chamisa's strategy is not working in Zimbabwe. It's not. It's not going to work again. This vampire I am talking about is made up of military generals, intelligence gurus, people who are living in upmarket suburbs, driving luxurious vehicles, earning thousands of US dollars a month. Taking ZANU-PF out of power is snatching food from their mouths. Yes. They are never going to let it go without a fight. Elections are not going to work for us. My advice to them is they should stop their political activities until they sit down and find a strategy that brings them and equips them to match the enemy they are facing. The book of Luke chapter 14 has got a very graphic analysis of our Zimbabwean problem, because what we have now, we have a situation where the opposition leaders are convening rallies, asking their parties to wear, the members to wear political regalia. After the rally, Mr. Chamisa and his comrades, they go to their suburbs. They are living inside walled and gated homes. They are hiring security guards. They have installed CCTV cameras. They are armed. They have dogs. But their members, they live in Chitungwiza. They live in Budiriro. They live in Glenora. Yes. Some of them are living in homes where there is no security at all. So the murderers are coming at night, taking them, killing them. And all that we are getting is a public statement, a press statement, a press release. May his soul rest in peace. One by one, our brothers and sisters are being murdered. It is irresponsible for the opposition leaders to continue with their political activities, especially seeing that their activists, their members are killed. They are brutally murdered. They are dying in their numbers every day because of these activities. Their own wives are safe, their own children are safe. It is our brothers and sisters, ordinary poor citizens, who are being murdered. A press statement is not going to bring back more Blessing Ali. A Twitter message from Fadzai Mahere is not going to send more Blessing Ali's children to school. This is a war. This is a serious matter. It is not student activism. This is not University of Zimbabwe Student Representative Council. This is not. This is somebody's future, somebody's livelihood. Somebody's children are not going to go to school because their father was murdered. Somebody's family is going to starve because of these politics. This is not right. It's not responsible. I am accusing our opposition political activists and leaders of practicing reckless politics that is putting their members as pawns in a political chess game, sacrificing their members so that they may appear on a press statement video, dressed in expensive clothes, speaking fluent English, but with no plan to promise their members that no opposition member shall be killed again. We are going to do this to protect you. Condemning ZANU-PF is not going to intimidate ZANU-PF into stopping their murder. This is dangerous. This is dangerous. May God comfort the families of those that are bereaved. The Ali family, the Dube family, the Ngube family, who is the other one, who was murdered in Zengeza. The Chinembiri family. May God comfort them. I feel for them.